Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our fifth webinar this quarter. Can't believe we are there already. For those that doesn't know me, my name is Adele. I am the B2B sales manager at TP-Link South Africa. This is Francois Conradi. He is our pre-sales at TP-Link South Africa. Today in our webinar, we are covering Omada, the new that's coming in the next. We're very excited about some of these products. I'm sure you guys are going to learn a lot of new stuff that we are bringing in or importing in the next quarter. Please note there is a Q&A session. Afterwards, you'll see then next to your chat button at the top of your screen, there's a Q&A. You can also post your questions anonymously if you want to. All right. Thanks, Francois.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, let's get started. Yeah, as Adele mentioned, we will be looking at the Omada new products and features. Yeah, obviously, we're always excited to launch new products, keep things from the Omada growing and the product growing. And obviously today's session I think will be a little bit different from the traditional webinars that we've been doing. Today we'll obviously just go through the portfolio, what's new on the software side, as well as what's new on the hardware side. And before we start with that, what I'd just like to do is obviously, before we go into all the products and the features, just take a step back and obviously look a bit at the bigger picture. I think over the past, few years, we've all seen Omada evolve from just a standard networking platform, into a complete ecosystem, for business connectivity, and including the security. So Omada has really gone from, just your standard network product to a whole full-on solution. And, in 2026, I think we've launched quite a few exciting things. We've launched, fully launched Omada Central, and, we're going to be introducing quite a few new things. And I think one of the biggest things that we were launching is our Fusion gateways. We'll get to that in a bit, but I think, in today, we'll just take it easy, go through the new products and features, and if there's obviously any questions at the end, we can just go through that as well. Okay, so starting off with the Fusion gateways. So, we launched what we call obviously Omada Central, which was completely just cloud-based. The hardware and the software controllers didn't support the surveillance side of it. But for obviously looking at that, we have now launched our hardware controller slash, a surveillance controller slash gateway slash cloud managed device. So this will be the Fusion. I think obviously, the biggest challenge that we always deal with in today is complexity. Obviously as a network grows, businesses find themselves always managing multiple devices, multiple interfaces, subscription fees, and there's a lot of points of failure. So it's always hard to determine what fails. For smaller businesses, it's obviously that complexity makes it a lot more difficult to actually install or actually approach. So with a Fusion, we want to take away that complexity. We want to take away, what the choices of what switch, what gateway, what controller, what router, rather give a one solution device. Instead of deploying all those separate devices, from the router right until the controller, the Fusion gateway allows you to integrate that into one solution. And obviously that results in a much simpler deployment, quick, easy, and fewer devices to manage, and obviously a lot more streamlined architecture. Obviously for the installers, this means a much faster installation. You get your products done, sorted, your projects done much faster, and it obviously makes it a little bit easier, on the scaling side to deploy. So you're not having to deploy so many devices per site. I think obviously what makes it very, particularly exciting is that it isn't just a consolidated hardware. It's more about creating a smarter and more unified experience with the networking. One device, everything's already there. There's no cables or networks in cabling going from one device to another device. The devices are one, so that also limits the transfer time from one device to another device. Let's just look at, obviously, this is still not fully confirmed. I mean, most of the models are. However, some of them might change a little bit as we get along. I have noted down the ETAs on these devices. It will be year and then the month. So some of them you'll see has been launched. I'm not going to go through all of them, in much detail. We will send, obviously, the presentation to you guys. But I mean, looking at the higher end Fusion models, it is obviously designed for customers with more capacity, more performance, and they need obviously those advanced deployments. So with that, we have the Fusion Max. There's two devices. We've got two different models there. We've got the Fusion Max 10 gig PoE, and then just the 10 gig, obviously one being PoE and the other one non-PoE. So you can see it's got a processor in it. It's got some onboard RAM, and it will actually also take two hard drives on that device. So you've got your two 10 gig ports, 2.5 gig ports, 4 gigabit ports, and then your 8 PoE ports. So you can add cameras straight to it. You can add your switcher straight to it. Really gets a quick, easy deploy on these devices. Obviously, the same for the other one, but that obviously just doesn't have the PoE on it. Looking at the smaller scales, we've got the Fusion Pro. We've got about 4 models there. The Fusion Pro 10 gig, 2.5 PoE, and then the 2.5 gig non-PoE. We also do have the built-in one with a Wi-Fi 7 actual access point built into it. So not only is it the controller, the gateway, it will also include a actual Wi-Fi access point to give you that perfect setup. Just looking at a little bit of smaller solutions, we've got the Fusion 2.5 gig PoE, and then just a normal 2.5 gig, as well as the G Plus, and then the Fusion Wi-Fi 7. So almost like the Pro, but these ones, they do not take a hard drive on them. However, they'll still allow you to connect some cameras to monitor cameras from the actual from the ecosystem. So obviously, once again, there's a lot less hardware involved in it. And I think what obviously makes it more compelling is that the customers still benefit from all the same Fusion philosophy with these smaller ones. But obviously, you've got the integrated network controller, the security features, all in a simple device, a small single simple device. And that obviously, like we said, it reduces the complexity of the deployment and ongoing management. So really, for our partners, it's a great opportunity to standardize on a single platform, across multiple customer segments. So for small businesses, throughout to large businesses and multi-site deployments, this really does make the everyday installation a lot easier. For just some use cases, obviously, definitely retail stores, hospitality and restaurants, professional offices, and multi-site deployment. I think this is, if you take a look at where it obviously will fit in, it really is designed for a wide range. If we look at the retail stores, whether it's a single store or multi branches, you can use these devices and pull in those multi stores all into the cloud. So yes, this is a local controller. However, we still have the functionality to pull it into the cloud and actually manage and monitor it from there as well. On the hospitality side, usually you require a stable connection for the customers. Payment services, And obviously you still need the security to key to it. So adding cameras to it, having your recordings done on a single device. And obviously you still get all the great benefits that you do get. You still have your secure guest Wi-Fi. So we still have our portal authentication, and we still have our zero touch provisioning. So all of those functions and features that you get from a normal standard Omada, you actually still have those functions going forward with the Fusion gateways. Looking at that as well, we still have the multi-site branch deployment. I mean, for organizations managing multiple locations makes the Fusion obviously enables that centralized, still being able to connect to the cloud, but it will help our business to scale more effectively. With that, obviously, the scenarios we have, in common, we need reliable networking, simplified management, and integrated security. So those things start to come together, and the Fusion Gateway obviously just brings all of that into a single device for that quick and easy deployment. Okay, now we've covered the Fusion gateways. Obviously, let's look at some other products. I think one of the greatest ones, the one that we're most excited about, is our new bridge kits or new bridges. We all know one of the biggest challenges, is having a location where you can't run fiber, you can't run Ethernet, and obviously it's not practical for it. Here, obviously, in the CCTVs, warehouses, yards, it's big coverage places you need to cover. To run cable, it's not always possible, and it's not always feasible price wise. So with the bridge kits or the bridges, we obviously have that quick and to extend your network connectivity, beyond the limitations of physical cabling, allowing business obviously to deploy high performance wireless links. We make sure that it's quick and easy with the Omada. I think just looking at the entire, Omada bridge kit portfolio, obviously particularly the existing ones, it really is a simple deployment. Both of them are scanned, both of them are preset. So you buy a set, connect them up, power them on, make sure that they point to each other, and you have your building connected, your two buildings connected, quick and easy. Obviously, looking at a point to multi-point solution, does require a little bit more of, setup, but it's still really quick and easy to do that from the Omada app. And, obviously, it really does make the design still a lot easier by just changing one to the main access point and the other devices, changing them to stations. And then obviously, secondly, it really is fast to deploy. Obviously, with the pre-configured, it really does reduce that installation time and the complexity, obviously, in the field. And then third, it really is quick and easy to align. We have using an app to align the actual devices, reduces, the technical necessary, knowing all the technical specs or all of that, it takes that away because you have an app that shows you your signal strength, your horizontal and vertical alignment. So it's quick and easy, really, fast to ensure that the setup is done quick and easy. So our new product that we'll be launching will be our sectors and our flex bridge. So the sector would be 120-degree, and that would be basically the hub, if we can call it that. And then we'll have our flex bridges, which will then connect to that specifically sector. That will allow up to 32 remote sites on one. So quick, easy deployment from the perspective of having one sector giving you that 120 degrees and having 32 devices being able to connect to it. This obviously just allows us, it expands on our portfolio, so it won't be pre-configured as the bridge kits are. However, moving from the standard think 8 maximum on the point to multi-point. The solution allows us up to 32 remote nodes. And in this, obviously, we really, we expand that portfolio, and obviously to allow a bit more diversity in the point to multi-point. So it's, you don't have to go buy a very expensive 10-kilometer point to multi-point, or a omni antenna when you don't need that kind of deployment for these. Obviously, once again, with the built-in testing tools, alignment indicators on the side, as well as using the tool, it really makes the setup quite quick and easy. So just looking at the devices, as I mentioned, so the sector bridge 5 would be your main hub on this, and you'll have 120-degree coverage. You'll have up to they support AC 867, so you'll have 867 megabytes of data throughput on these devices. Obviously, being outdoor IP66 rated, and then your flex bridge, that will be your end device, that will have a 40-degree directional antenna and same speed as the sector bridge. What is really nice and what stands out on these devices is that it actually comes with 4 PoE ports on the device itself. So quick and easy to just take a Ethernet cable from the device and plug it into multiple. So we don't even have to add in a outdoor switch or a switch in a box on these devices. Obviously, deployment sites, looking at it, business parks, resorts, warehouses, industrial sites. I think the great thing as well is that, if you're looking at remote sites where it's not always easy to have, run cabling, it's easy to use these devices to set it up. And with it, obviously using the bridge, the Flex Bridge 5, having the quick and easy functionality of just taking a cable from the device and plugging it into your camera. Obviously, we still need to power the camera. However, we don't need to add a switch to the system. Okay, then looking at some long distance or high performance as well. We've got the beam bridge. This will have a 3 gigabyte a second real world throughput. I think this obviously has been, in the making for a while. Obviously, looking at the sector bridges and the flex bridges, this is designed for point to multi-point deployment in a short distance. But with the beam bridge, we focus on obviously delivering an ultra high performance point to point connection. So obviously, this is like wireless fiber. The beam bridge obviously is built around Wi-Fi 7 technology. And obviously with that, we ensure that it has that a proper high throughput across the distance. I think what makes it really exciting, obviously, in a real world, so obviously the real world throughput, it can deliver up to the 3 gigs. Obviously, that's the usable bandwidth. So that will allow the customer to send through, quite a lot of data and information across these links. So this will obviously be used as a backhaul. With obviously, this is not a super long distance, but if you need a high throughput at a 1 kilometer distance, you can then use the beam bridges for those deployments. Looking at the next one is our long range connectivity. This will be obviously as we looking at all the products. I think obviously adding this one to our portfolio. This is the Beam Bridge 5, and this will obviously deliver, at a longer distance, up to 15 kilometers. Once again, putting it into more point to point and to create those long distance backhauls. With a 15 kilometers, I think you can really push through, quite, a distance. And from that, you get your 800 67 megs a second on this device. So why use our Omada bridges? First, as I mentioned, obviously fast. You've got your point-to-point kits in a box already set up. With that we can offer point to multi-point solution. We've got our long-range connectivity and obviously the Wi-Fi 7 on that side. Really fast to deploy. The Omada bridges support pre-configured kits, automatic pairing capabilities, and then it's got some plug-and-play installation. And obviously we ensure that you guys can monitor and manage these things all from the cloud as well. Then third, fast alignment. So obviously using the TP-Link mobile app, we can now use a real-time alignment tool, which will actually then give you your signal strength horizontal and vertically, so you can quickly adjust it while you're on site without having to take a laptop and logging into the actual device. You can just use your phone, and then you can verify that your device as optimally aligned as possible. And then last, obviously, really easy to validate. We've got a tool which you can actually then run a speed test from, and this will allow obviously to check the link quality, see what the actual throughput you're getting, and then see, troubleshoot. Obviously, it reduces the troubleshooting time and improves your project confidence. Obviously, when you combine these four, together, not only obviously we get the results of the wireless bridge portfolio, but it's obviously designed not only for performance, but obviously for simplicity, to ensure that you guys can do a quick and fast installation, ensure that your customers are happy, and you can move on to the next site to ensure more deployments. Then I'd just like to take a look at our outdoor PoE switch. So this is one that we do have already, but this one is our V2. So this will be the SG2005P-PD V2. It's obviously an outdoor managed switch. So it is a layer 2 managed switch with PoE, powers up with PoE++. So that obviously means I don't have to pull in a separate DC power source. Just power it with my PoE++, and I will then have 4 ports of PoE+ to actually power up 4 cameras. The total PoE budget will be 64 watts. Obviously, this ensures that we can add at least 2 or 3 cameras, or at least a wireless link with two cameras to maybe extend our network, or if we want to add an outdoor access point, we can order that from the outdoor switch without the need of adding a box. Quick and easy deployment, and it also supports PoE extension up to 200 meters. So running, from our main PoE switch using the PoE extension, if you can still get PoE++ power out of that distance, you can then actually ensure a longer run distance to the devices. Being an outdoor switch, we ensure obviously that it is UV resistant, and it has the 6 kilovolt lightning protection built into the devices. Just an outdoor deployment. Obviously, here we can see outdoor switch. We've got our main device connecting to it, powering it up, either being our new Fusion gateways with the PoE, or just a switch. From there, we can then power up our security camera, outdoor Wi-Fi access point, or even a wireless bridge to get that last bit of distance that we might need. If I don't have line of sight, and I can run to a switch and then power to get that perfect line of sight, it will just obviously make the deployment a lot easier and a lot faster to set up. And obviously, with it being an outdoor, it is IP66 rated, so it is designed for the outdoor environments. Quick and easy for deployments on campuses, parking areas, even warehouses, or even perimeter. I think on the perimeter, this makes a big difference to actually run your cables, your PoE solutions. Then the next exciting is our Omada Outdoor 5G gateway. Obviously, this is the perfect solution for any outdoor environment where you don't have reliable fiber, or be able to run network cabling. I think this is where the ER701 5G outdoor really solves a lot of our problems in this wonderful South Africa of ours. Connecting this obviously up to a solar panel, you can power the device with the solar panel, and have the device giving Wi-Fi access and routing from the device. It also supports dual SIM, so it can have the failover. If you are in a really rural spot, you can actually then easily deploy these with 2 SIM cards, and you will get up to 7.01 gigs a second on the actual throughput of the device. Outdoor IP66 rated, obviously ensuring that quick and easy deployment. I don't have to put this inside a box. Then ensure that I can have it might overheat or anything, and then we have all of it into one device. So it's got obviously got the Wi-Fi, got the 4G, and the routing functionality in any place. I think what's really nice, if you have a solution on a farm, and you need to deploy, you can actually then run this device at the remote site, and then basically just add this back into the Omada and manage this from the cloud. Just some deployment scenarios, obviously construction sites, remote surveillance, and utility infrastructure. One thing I would like to mention as well is that with the app, you actually have a 5G cellular alignment tool as well. So it will let you know what is the best position for the device, and you can actually then use that to align the device properly, ensuring that you have the best 5G coverage that is needed. Okay, so now we're done with some of the hardware. We're just going to go through some of the controller updates, some features, some software features. Looking at some of the latest, obviously this is just on our Omada controllers. We've optimized the backup and restore functionality to ensure smoother moving over from one to another controller, as well as optimize the migration function. We have added SNMP version 3, and we also, obviously on the local controller, you can now transfer to the cloud. So that is a really nice function. On the EAPs, we have PPSK for the 6 GHz channels. Obviously, Wi-Fi calling, load balancing has been improved, and obviously, we've optimized the function of lock to AP. So if a device keeps bouncing from one access point to another, we have optimized that to ensure that when you lock that device to an access point, it will stay there until it loses connection, and then move to the next one. So if it's a stationary device like a TV or a PlayStation or anything like that, that will ensure that when you lock it to the AP, it will always stick to that specific AP. On our switches, on the campus network, we've got 1 gig and 2.5 access support for the mixed stacking added into the actual controller, and some developing features. Obviously, we're going to look at the licenses model revamp, just on obviously using the standard but we'll discontinue the pro licenses so that you can actually start adding the pro devices into the standard Omada controllers. We will be enhancing the IoT connectivity and just some WLAN group optimization that we will be changing. And then the switches, the OUI-based VLAN, so the VoIP VLAN will be optimized and then added into the Agile series support for actually, adding the OUI based VLAN to the Agile series. There's some changes on the Cloud Essentials or some updates. Currently, obviously, the latest update, we've added the AI terminal recognition. We've optimized the WLAN optimization. So if you're running the optimization on, even Essentials, it will basically scan the network, make sure that there's no what's the least amount of interference on each channel, and then optimize and select the right channels. This is obviously a little bit more basic than what the paid for version is. However, it will still assist in getting you the right channels that's needed. Optimize on the switch QoS, and then we are adding no auth portal. So that will be part of as part of the essentials. And then just on Essentials 2.4, that is obviously the latest one, the most stable version. We've done the gateway speed test, so you can actually we've added the function to do a gateway speed test and optimize the function to lock the access point. Obviously, same as we've done on the hardware controllers. Some developing features. Upgrading from standard version without migrating. So you won't have to migrate anymore. You'll basically just be able to do a seamless, switch over, and it will basically just upgrade you from the essentials to the standard version, and some WLAN optimization, as well as for the switches, quick replacement of faulty devices. That function will just assist in swapping them out. And then obviously the bridge optimization, we do actually have bridge optimization as well, which means it will do the same as the WLAN. It will scan for the best channels to ensure that, when you are running your optimization, it will select the best channels for the access points, for the bridge kits. Then lastly, just on the app, the Omada app, we have added a few more functions to it. So you can actually do optimization from the WLAN optimization from the app now. You've got remote access supported for NAT transversal. So that eliminates, the need for manual ports forwarding configurations. You can actually just go on the app and, enable the NAT transversal, and it will give you a link which you can then access any device that's connected to any switch on the Omada network. We obviously, just for the user experience, optimize some animation effects on the app just to make the app function a bit better. And as I mentioned, obviously, we will be looking at the license revamp. And I think the best thing is just the AP group adoption. So you can actually add the APs in a group instead of just having the same SSID. You'll be able to create AP groups, and that we'll be able to do from the app as well. Okay.
Yes, we're going to open the Q&A section. I see there's already questions there. Please ask your questions. There might be some delays again, but we will answer all your questions like we can. Jason is asking, what is the bandwidth limitation of the Flex Bridge and the sector?
So you still get your 867 megs a second. It is a gigabit port on it. Obviously, as the product develops, we will launch a guide. Obviously, how many cameras, what you can add to it, but there's no physical limitation on that. So you get up to 867 megs. I think that's basically the limitation to it.
Right, another question from Jason. What is the maximum amount of devices on the Fusion gateways, the non-pro versions?
That we are still waiting for confirmation. Once we have that, I will share that with everyone as well. They haven't confirmed all the devices, so whether it be networking or even on the cameras. So once they give us that information, we will share it. Dependent on the distance. Yes, yeah.
So Jason's questions just repeat. Is the limitation dependent on the distance?
Yeah. So obviously, the further it does run, it will obviously have a bit the distance. The further the distance, the less the actual throughput you will get out of it. That unfortunately will still be part of the systems.
All right, guys, while we're waiting for more questions, if any, again, our marketing team, either Saihan or Jordan, will be sending you guys, not on the camera, there we go. We'll be sending you guys the presentations with our details. Our email addresses will be in there. So if there's any other questions after the session, you can ask us via email. I don't know why they just thinks I'm dead. Like, hello. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, so you can ask us the questions on email as well. All right. But if you do want to jump off I don't know, sorry guys, I don't know why this camera is doing this weird stuff. If you guys want to jump off the call, you are welcome. You will get the presentation on email afterwards. I think we're going to give it another 3 minutes or so. See if there's any more questions. If not, then we'll end the session.
Yes.
Jason's question is, will the Fusion Gateway be replacing the ER7212 PC?
Yes, yeah. It will. The Fusion gateways will be the replacement for the built-in controller gateways, which will now obviously then just include the surveillance part of it. So it will be replacing the old PC models.
Looks like that. Jason, I know you're going to have many more questions because this is just you. You can phone Francois also if we end the call before you answered your questions. But if there's not anything else, we're going to close the call. And then, yeah, please join us for the next one. The next one is next week. We will be covering Vigi, new products and features as well. And that will conclude our webinars for this quarter. We will start a new series next quarter. A lot of the webinars will cover the same stuff because, as you know, we do updates and stuff, but we do have two new webinars that we will be doing next quarter. We will share those dates with you. I am just waiting for the calendar thing, and then I'll send it through to you guys, and you can register for them going forward for the whole quarter. Okay, I think that is it.
Okay, thank you very much everyone for joining. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Bye bye.